That's when you go back. You're always thinking यार मैंने ऐसे क्या किया कि मुझे एक ऑल इंडिया फोर्थ रैंक आ गया.
I'm sorry for being a little blunt here, but it was something that I had to do. So when my dad checked, and this was literally his reaction. CA चालू है तो मेरी कैद चालू है. When you see the books for the first time, even जब एग्जाम खत्म हुआ था उसके बाद भी मैंने बुक्स को वापस से देखा. I myself was shocked. I used to at least pick up 2 subjects on a daily basis. Have a macro and a micro view. Paper लिख के आओ, tear your paper, throw it in the dustbin and forget about it.
Hi, today I'm in conversation with Saad Memon. Saad has scored an unbelievable All India fourth rank in his CA final November 23 exams. And I want Saad to share today his wonderful story of perseverance, uh, unbelievable commitment, and a lot of resilience on the way. And I think Saad's story is going to be an inspiration not just for so many CA final students who are preparing on the way, but also students preparing for a lot of other qualifications and exams in India, because the recipe for success really remains the same. So, hi Saad. It's firstly a pleasure interacting with you. I've known you for the last quite a few years. When we all heard the news that you've scored an All India fourth rank, it really sort of warmed our hearts and made us feel proud. So, firstly, I want to, sort of ask you, what is the feeling like scoring an All India fourth rank? And I'm sure this is something that you don't expect. I mean, it happens, and then you, sort of think that okay, you would have done certain things right. But I want you to just share what it felt like.
Thank you, Harsad, for introducing me. So, as you said, an AIR4, it was unexpected for me. I opened my results on the result day. I was actually unable to sleep the entire day because of the results coming up. I I was refreshing the site from around 9 in the morning. I saw my results. The first thing I saw was pass and pass, and that's it. I was jumping for joy from there itself. A little while later, my I just asked my dad, check if I've got a rank, because I had scored distinction in my exams. So when my dad checked, and this was literally his reaction. He Then I asked him what happened. He told me कि साथ तेरा AIR4 आया है. And that was the first time I saw my dad cry. It was a very humbling and yet a very joyous experience at the same time, because my dad, he's been the center of our family. He's been our backbone. So obviously, and many of the other people can relate as well, we've never seen our parents cry, especially our dads. But to see my dad cry for the first time, and that too out of joy, it was a experience that I'll never forget. I can't take that
Express
day,
it in
express
words.
in words. Yes, sir.
So I think absolutely, Saad. I think it is for these moments that get etched in our minds. Whether it's your parents, your educators, your mentors, your well-wishers, and how you've made them proud. But I'm sure that there is a lot that's gotten to sort of get here. And I mean, every student says that, and you will agree that we never expect a performance like that, right? It happens, and then you think that okay, you would have done certain things right. That's when you go back. You're always thinking यार मैंने ऐसे क्या किया कि मुझे एक ऑल इंडिया फोर्थ रैंक आ गया, मैंने एक्स्ट्रा ऐसा क्या किया, and then you want to sort of put all those experiences together and share with students. And today that is the reason I want to give you the stage to share with a lot of students who are in a similar boat as you were months back. And I want you to share your story and tell them what it takes to sort of get here. तो मुझे थोड़ा सा बताओ, आपका सीए आपने इंटर ख़त्म किया, और सीए इंटर से आपका जो सीए फाइनल एग्ज़ाम्स तक का जर्नी था, जिसमें आपने शायद कॉलेज ख़त्म किया, आपने पढ़ाई की, यू डिड योर आर्टिकलशिप, यू देर आर सो मेनी थिंग्स हैपनिंग एट पर्सनल लाइफ, सो इट्स अ हेल और लॉट ऑफ मल्टीटास्किंग. थोड़ा सा मुझे उसके बारे में बताइए कि हाउ डिड दैट स्पैन आउट.
Okay, sir. So, मेरा इंटर खत्म हुआ. After that, once I joined for my articleship, so I've done my articleship from INCOP, and that too in a very interesting division. I've been working in the investment banking division over there, so there's a stigma attached to that division that the work hours are long, etc. And I was told about it from start itself. And to be honest, in the journey, I felt that as well. The only thing that I had decided in the start itself was, जो भी है, we'll have to start our lectures. Key lectures are key to at least get some knowledge, some great level conceptual clarity comes out from those lectures. So
Coaching.
yes,
Starting
coaching,
that in advance.
exactly.
Okay.
So once I started off my coaching in the first year, I just attended weekend lectures because it was the first time I've been in a corporate. Kaam chalu hai. You have to try to figure out a balance. How do I balance my work as well as my studies? And you're still in that kind of celebratory zone कि हाँ अभी तो मैं CA बन ही गया हूँ यार, इंटर हो गया. I'm half chartered accountant, two-third chartered accountant, exactly. So to get out of that zone, to be honest, it took me a year. When my second year of articleship started, I realized shit, बहुत backlog जमा हो गया है.
तो आपने कोचिंग टिपिकली कितने महीने कब कितने टाइम पहले शुरू करी, 1 साल पहले, 1.5 साल पहले?
So मेरा articleship joining was around March 2021,
Okay.
and at the same time I started my coaching.
वंडरफुल, इमीडिएटली शुरू कर दी?
Immediately. I was blessed that I was allowed even over here with to balance my studies, etc. But that was something that it was a personal thing that I wasn't able to cope up with. So second year onwards, I realized कि okay, बहुत backlog है. So that's when I started trying to watch my lectures daily, etc. When 2023 rolled in, I realized DT, IDT, FR आधा सबके lectures बाकी है. So at that point of time, I realized it's time to buckle up and finish the portion by hook or by crook. So by May of 2023, I had fortunately completed my lectures by till then, and since I had gotten my study leave in June, and I distinctively remember talking to you as well before going to my study leave, ke how should I plan it, etc. And you have throughout this journey from start till end, you have always been a constant mentor to me as well. Even at that point, I came to you, I was worried, sir. I only have 5 months to prepare for it, and over there what I understood was how to plan. So just some insights that I received from you I would like to share here is you just gave me a basic confidence, sir, कि कैसे कर सकते हैं, क्या कर सकते हैं. And on that what I realized is कि see, I came to you with the same logic and concept कि मेरे सब दोस्त लोग सर daily plans बना रहे हैं. I can't make daily plans. I'm a very chaotic person in that way. I'm very unorganized. I'm not able to keep track of things, etc. I'm not a planner as such. तो मुझे पता था कि मैं डेली प्लान बना भी लूंगा तो मैं स्टिक नहीं कर पाऊंगा उस पर. सो rather than making a daily plan or every 2 days में इतना खत्म करना है, I took a macro vision rather than going in micro. I looked at it on a macro angle. मेरे पास 8 पेपर है जिसकी मुझे पढ़ाई करनी है. How do I complete it in such a way that I give justice to each subject and also revise it at the same time? So in June, I had decided that rather than looking at it every daily basis, just start focusing on it. Just start your studies. Give yourself a longer time duration. Let's say in this month, for example, let's say I started in June. June, mein, how many subjects do I want to complete? I used to give myself 2 to 3 subjects per month ka target. We had paper 6, which was an elective. I had given myself 7 days in total with revision for that, and the remaining 7 subjects I had decided in 1 month I should try to complete at least 2 subjects. And along with that, along with these 2 subjects that I'll be covering in every month, FR and SFM, I enjoyed them a lot because they were practical and they were kind of a break for me from the theory subjects. तो कंटिन्यूसली जो दूसरे सब्जेक्ट्स होते जाते थे, लेट्स से अ सब्जेक्ट लाइक ऑडिट is kind of my weak spot. Since inter I have not been able to understand the concepts well, etc. So audit had always been a weak spot for me. So I realized if I want to make audit interesting for me, audit as a subject covers a multitude of other subjects in CA final as well. There are inputs from FR, there are inputs from law, there are even inputs from taxation. Though while studying other subjects, I try to correlate the subject so that it would make sense for me and it would become easier for me.
ओके, सो आई थिंक 1 or 2 थिंग्स विच आई अंडरस्टूड इज, सबसे पहले तो आपने अपनी कोचिंग समय पे शुरू करी. दैट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, एंड earlier the better. I think that is a message that you're trying to give most of the students. The second thing that I understood from you is you made a macro plan and then you went micro. You made a macro plan and then you went micro. And I think ये मैं हर स्टूडेंट को यूजली कहता हूँ, irrespective of whatever exam you prepare for, that art of going macro and micro एक तो एग्ज़ाम में काम आता है और वो आर्ट प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ में बहुत काम आता है. व्हेन यू गेट बैक टू वर्क और यू इवन इन योर पर्सनल लाइफ एट लेटर स्टेजेस इन लाइफ टू जूम आउट, ओके, टू लुक एट द लार्जर पीसेज एंड देन जूम इन इज़ सो इम्पॉर्टेंट. और हम जो भी प्लान बनाते हैं वो चेंज होता ही है इनएविटेबली, तो वो जूमिंग इन और जूमिंग आउट बहुत significantly important है. Did you study while you were doing your watching your lectures, did you take some time out, or you were not able to?
For FR and SFM, I did because these two subjects I was genuinely enjoying, as I said. So SFM, I actually did revise earlier as well. So my SFM lecture started in 2021 itself. So at that point of time, I revised it, and before my study leave, before June, I was actually able to complete the practical portion of SFM's revision. Because see, I wanted to motivate myself to start studying. So I thought, what better way to do it than do it with the subject you love.
Absolutely. Wonderful. So, okay, you can say that out of all your papers, about three odd papers, you were 3 to 4 papers, you were sort of there before you started your study leave in terms of coaching.
Yes.
And the remaining 3, 4 papers needed a lot of work in your 5 months of study leave. Wonderful. And at any given point in time, आप 2 से 3 सब्जेक्ट स्टडी लीव में पढ़ते थे? It was a combination of 2 to 3 subjects.
I used to at least pick up 2 subjects on a daily basis because after a point of time, exhaustion kicks in. Many people would say, "अरे आपको exam के एक दिन पहले भी तो पढ़ना है." But what you don't realize is there's an adrenaline rush one day before the exam. That's true. Audit जैसे subjects, if you don't have a habit of studying it for the whole day, it does become a headache. But you also have to factor in that adrenaline. If you're not, if you just try to study one subject the entire day, you'll get exhausted much more quickly. Rather than at least having 2 subjects on a daily basis, it made me want to. So I started with a subject which I hated because in the morning, let's start with something you don't like, and then as a reward, I know many people wouldn't put it that way, like studying is definitely not a reward, but as a reward, transition to a subject that I enjoy.
Nice, that's a good way of putting it. Uh, एक बहुत important issue which I want you to talk about साथ which students faces मेरे हिसाब से CA final exam clear करना या कोई भी difficult exam clear करना, and particularly मैं CA final कहूँगा because it is a very tough exam to clear, is a lot of mind game, right? I mean, you make plans which will go haywire. You have to keep your emotions in control. I think it's a lot of mind game. If your mind is strong, everything is sorted. If your mind is not strong, things are not sorted. And I think irrespective of whether one clears, doesn't clear, scores a rank, doesn't score a rank, we all go through fear, we all go through anxiety, we all go through moments of depression. It's a negative word to use, but we go through it, right? We all go through those doubt phases, and then we come out of it, right? और ये journey बहुत कुछ सिखाता है हमको. तो how do you, and I think one of the reasons why people perform and outperform, and you've outperformed, is because they are able to manage those emotions slightly better than the ones that did not perform, right? Not just in those 3, 5 months of study leave, but also in those 3 hours of exam. You got your mental makeup right? इसलिए आप perform कर सकते हो. Throw some light on how you managed your emotions.
So my parents have been a big support for me in that area. My mom and dad were constantly like, "हम देख रहे तू पढ़ाई कर रहा है," and many other CS students would also relate. The parents, many of my friends whom I talked to, their parents were much more happy than we were. Even with my case, when my parents saw the results, they were jumping with joy. I was spellbound at that point of time, but they were jumping with joy. Our parents are a key factor for majority of us, and they kept me grounded, they kept me sane, to be very honest. This is not a single person's journey. I'm blessed to have 5 siblings as well.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
so my siblings, my younger sister, my younger brother, whenever I was feeling a little too much pressure, I would just walk out with them, I would go out, I would relax with them, calm myself down, and then get back to it. Secondly, I would also, I believe a lot in religion, so I would like to thank God as well, because when you have a higher power you submit to, that definitely helps. And thirdly, I was very fortunate to have great mentors, sir. People like you and people even in my
And
office.
wonderful people where you've done your articleship at Incorp, who've sort of, backed you up and who've given you all the worldly advice that was necessary to sort of keep
Definitely.
it going. ऑन दैट नोट मैं एक बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट, सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, आई एग्री कि आपका इकोसिस्टम बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है आप जब पढ़ाई करते हो तो, बिकॉज इट्स नॉट जस्ट यू, इट्स पीपल अराउंड यू दैट गिव यू दैट यू नो that strength when it's required, who lift you when it's required. And I think faith बहुत important होता है, whatever your faith be, right? It's whether you're religious or not, but faith is very very important. ऑन दैट नोट मैं एक चीज़ पूछना चाहूँगा आपसे कि आपका जो आर्टिकलशिप रहा, यू वर्कड एट इनकॉर्प and you worked in the investment banking division at Incorp and you've had lovely mentors in there. Uh, how much of your work experience was helpful in appreciating knowledge that the CA final exams had to offer? And how much of your CA final exam content have you been able to go back and apply at work? You know, वो ultimately that's the fun, that's the magic, right? ठीक है, exams clear हो गया, but ultimately अब the real journey is कि भाई मैं उसको apply कैसे करूँ, right? That वो application में ही तो मज़ा है. Give me a little insight into that, at least in the last 2-3 years of your articleship.
So in COP, I was very fortunate to work with different kind of profiles and different kind of deals that came through. So in every deal, since we are a boutique IB firm, and we have a lot of chartered accountants over here. So the value we add over here is, in the sense, we are an end-to-end transaction advisory. We would help these clients out with our audits. They would also help him out with structuring the transaction, with finalizing the deals, negotiating. So with the audit, you get a background of what the law is. You understand how you can make sure that the client's numbers are achieved as per your plan while staying to the guns. You understand how can you save tax better for them, how you can structure things better for them. When the structuring part comes, again, company law comes in. Sometimes even FEMA comes in. There may be some cross-border transactions which you'll have to refer. So that actually helps you. And definitely the concepts of SFM and FRR obviously very much applied over here as well. The concept of discounting your cash flows, the concepts of how do you calculate your IRR on a real time basis, how do you see the books of accounts, how do you analyze them. That was definitely very helpful with my exams. Like, I could see a question or two in FR, I was like, okay, I've actually done this for a client, and that helped kick in. And post my qualification, so DT, IDT, these were two things I did not have much understanding of. So there's a exercise called as due diligence before investment. So we assist in that, as while assisting in due diligences, especially the tax aspect of it. I was better able to understand what is actually being needed over here. So people might say, like, finance mein jana hai, tax and all, may not, it's not, what would I do with tax and all, but finance is much more broader than just sitting on your Excel and doing numbers. And the knowledge of all these comprehensive subjects that comes in definitely helps out a lot.
That's where the fun is. और actually the real journey is yet to begin. अब वो शुरुआत होगी. और आई थिंक जब आपको एक ऑल इंडिया रैंक आता है, आपको एटलीस्ट एक ये थोड़ा सा रियश्योरेंस होता है कि ठीक है, देर आर थिंग्स दैट आई वर्कड. बट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट ये है कि टू गो बैक टू लिस्ट डाउन व्हाट आर द थिंग्स दैट आई वर्कड फॉर यू, और वो क्वालिटीज़ को कॉन्स्टेंटली पूरी लाइफ में आगे लेके जाना बहुत ज़रूरी है, राइट? Constantly applying it to your workplace, constantly applying it to any ecosystem that you're a part of. तब ये I would say this rank will help you outshine wherever you are, right? It's not just till the exam. So that's my small message to you and all students, you know, कि आप जब exams clear करते हो और आप you do well in exams, it's very very important you go back, you list down things that have worked for you, और you constantly stay humble कि नहीं, ये qualities है work for me और ये qualities मुझे constantly यूज़ करना है wherever I am. And for some reason अगर आपका exam clear नहीं होता है, still it is learnings, right? It's an experience. At the end of the day, you have to just pick yourself up and you have to move on. मैंने एक recently I wrote somewhere that your exam certificate, your exam passing is only like a ticket to a roller coaster ride, right? It's just like आपको एक ticket मिल गया है एक roller coaster ride में बैठने का, और but अब roller coaster is the real fun. That's the real life, right? तो टिकट मिल गया है, बहुत अच्छा है. टिकट नहीं मिल रहा है तो कल मिलेगा, बट टिकट तो मिलना ही है. वो रोलर कोस्टर राइड तो सबको एंजॉय करना है. तो अलग अलग कोर्सेज जो होते हैं या आपके टिकट्स होते हैं, you have to just go and sit in the roller coaster and you have to sort of let it begin. But the real fun is in enjoying that roller coaster ride, which is going to begin now. So that's amazing, Saad. So what are your plans here after? I think CA ने आपको बहुत strong domestic knowledge दे दिया है. Technically it's made you very well versed with Indian laws, compliances, reporting very well. And I think it's also, this experience has also given you a host of softer human skills whether it's managing time, pressure, emotion, the importance of faith, the importance of your ecosystem. मतलब बहुत सारी चीज़ें आपने सीख ली है पूरे दौरान. How would you like to upgrade your knowledge year after?
So, a very true point, sir. With CA qualification, I understand it's a very prestigious and a very important qualifications, but it is very India centric. I agree on that point. So there is a need for global qualifications as well. And to be very honest, there are a lot of qualifications available that are quite exciting. Like let's take a CFA for instance. The level of learning and understanding is very application based. Then there's ACCA papers like strategic business leadership. They are equivalent to a interview at MBB's, McKinsey, Bain, BCG. The interviews that they conduct, I was reading about them, and I saw that paper. I was like, wow, this is something that seems interesting. There's SIMA, there's FRM. There are so many courses available, and I definitely do want to upskill myself because I understand that CA as a journey. I'm sorry for being a little blunt here, but it was something that I had to do given my family background, given things like these. I had to do it because I knew I wouldn't be able to pour in some with CA. It gives me a base, but something like a CFA or something like a ACCA, that would be something that I'm keen about, and that I would definitely like.
आई थिंक आपका सी ए डिग्री आपको बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग रूटेड बनाता है, नो डाउट अबाउट इट. और इट्स गिवन यू अमेजिंग फंडामेंटल्स जो कभी लाइफ में आई मीन दे विल ऑलवेज बी यूजफुल टू यू वेर एवर यू आर. सो सी ए ने आपको बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग रूट्स दिया है. अब अपने आप को सेकेंड डिग्री के साथ थोड़े विंग्स दो, add another perspective, add another global employability angle, and I think then you will go places, right? Interesting, Saad. So don't stop here.
Definitely.
पढ़ते रहना, because I think unlearning, learning, unlearning and relearning is the mantra of today's world. और constantly equipping yourself with global perspectives बहुत ज़रूरी है in the new world, right? On that note, just to conclude, if you have to leave a few tips behind for students who are studying for CA final exams, चार पांच अपने key learnings share करो, so that they will remember it, and they will also be able to live a journey like you have.
So first things first, it is important to create a good mindset. वो mindset जो होता है, many people feel कि CA चालू है तो मेरी कैद चालू है. Don't just lock yourself at your home. Go down, go out. If you've gone out, just go for a walk. If possible, meet a few friends. Yes, I understand it wouldn't be possible in the last few months, but when it is starting, when you start off on a journey like this, it is a huge journey. When you see the books for the first time, इवन जब एग्जाम खत्म हुआ था उसके बाद भी मैंने बुक्स को वापस से देखा, आई माई सेल्फ वॉज शॉक्ड हाउ वाज आई एबल टू डू.
Correct.
So go down, keep yourself calm and keep yourself collected.
Enjoy life. Life बंद नहीं होता है, as you rightly said. आप कैदी नहीं बन जाते हो. Okay.
You don't have to be a prisoner. Secondly, have a macro and a micro view. I'm repeating it again and again, but it is very essential to plan well. You don't need to be extremely detailed about your plans. Rather than planning the number of hours you study, determine how you can improve the quality of your learning. Let's say you've allotted 15 days to a subject, like 15 or 20 days to a subject like audit for the first read. If you feel by putting in a day or two extra, you can get out a much better quality of learning. I would say go for it, because I was not able to stick to my plans ekdam one-to-one basis. There were definitely changes in it. There were definitely things I had to change so that I could keep up with my studies. So don't be scared once your plans are not working. That's why execution comes after planning.
करेक्ट. सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, प्लानिंग पे बहुत टाइम स्पेंड करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. एंड जूम इन जूम आउट, दैट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, बिकॉज आप जो प्लान बनाते हो वो 100% चेंज होगा ही. इट्स अनअवॉइडेबल. सो सी द लार्जर पिक्चर, जूम इन, सी द लार्जर पिक्चर, जूम इन, एंड आई थिंक क्वालिटी इज मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट देन क्वांटिटी, राइट? आई थिंक इट्स अ वेरी नाइस पॉइंट.
And then try giving at least one mock. Don't go for any test series at all. You don't need to spend your money on that kind of things. You can just write it. MTP, RTP भी आती है ICI की. If you don't want to spend your money on these test series, that's also fine. Just take the MTP, take the RTP, just jot it down. If you want, you can send it to someone to evaluate it, etc. But even if you can self-evaluate it, that's also fine. Just identify if you can finish that paper in 3 hours. Because papers like audit, people, we know the concepts, but knowing a thing and jotting it down are two different things.
राइट करेक्ट सो एक से दो मॉक्स कम से कम लिखो, दो मॉक्स एटलीस्ट उसको असेस करवाओ, वो बहुत ज़रूरी है बिकॉज जब तक आप अपने आप को एक एग्जाम इन्वायरमेंट में नहीं डालोगे आपको पता नहीं चलेगा. सो गिव योर सेल्फ दैट आर्टिफिशियल प्रेशर ऑफ 3 hours but live that simulation once before you go for the
At least once, I would suggest do it.
2-3 times. Okay.
Then fourthly, I would say, okay, for stress, a small tip that I myself followed is, paper लिख के आओ, tear your paper, throw it in the dustbin and forget about it.
Okay.
Because people actually were watching videos ke paper analysis ye wo. I understand some people need that kind of guidance, and if you are one of them, go for it. Definitely go for it. But if you feel ke no, I know how my paper went, because I personally never watched any analysis etc., because what it creates is a waterfall effect. The paper in our attempt, FR was difficult. I won't deny, FR was a difficult paper for our attempt. Many people, just because of how people were saying, oh, it was so difficult, it was so difficult, even if the paper had gone well, many people were feeling like, अगर सबका खराब गया तो मेरा कैसे अच्छा गया, शायद मेरे से कुछ गलती हो गई होगी. So they spent a lot of time on analysis, and they even that suffered with the SFM as well.
Which consumes you. It's not required, so just don't do it.
Don't do that kind of things. And uh, finishing your coaching on time, it's very important. And making good notes while studying, that's something I didn't do. And I would recommend you, if you're watching your lectures for the first time, during lectures itself, if you can do it, it would work wonders for you. Mark sums which you feel are comprehensive as last day revision, because that will help out a lot to, because in the end, when I was struggling to compile things, that's what I had to spend a lot of my time in. What sums do I practice 1.5 day before exams?
Planning that 1.5 days well in advance is very, very important.
Because see, whatever studies you do, you will keep forgetting them, and that's fine. Everyone forgets things. That 1.5 days is for that reason itself, so that you can revise it, you can go through everything. You not maybe not everything, but you can go through the key concepts, because you might forget a detail or two over there, you might forget even a few more things, but that's why the 1.5 days are available. So in subjects like FR, AFM right now, DT, IDT, you'll have practical sums. Solve these sums which are more comprehensive. These comprehensive sums, make them as your LDR, so that would cover multiple concepts for you. Then you can also mark these sums which you are making an error in, and in the second revision, if you are not making an error, cross them out, because I can guarantee you that once you've made an error and you've corrected yourself after that, you won't make that same error again.
Correct.
So
Wonderful. So I think it's a very valuable, and I think every CA student should hear it. And I think in general, if you're studying for any competitive exam, I think your learnings, these stay true irrespective of whatever exam that you're giving. And one last thing I'm going to sort of conclude by telling you, Saad, is that this performance of yours and this achievement of yours is going to give you a brilliant start in life for sure, but thereafter the journey is only about the way you apply. I think few years down the line people won't remember whether you passed, didn't pass in the first attempt, whether you scored a rank, didn't score a rank. Eventually nobody asks.
very true.
It's only going to be about how you enjoy that roller coaster ride, how you stay collected all the time, how you stay relevant all the time, and how you can enjoy on the way. I think somebody who's done that for me eventually is the performer, right? So I wish you all the best in your journey ahead, Saad. And I think these lessons are going to be very valuable for a lot of students who are going to watch this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.